Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk on something gaming related because I feel like that it could answer a lot of questions for people on why is there so many PvP style games coming out? Because you have a lot of different extraction shooters coming out. You have it where there's games where, kind of like Battlefield, where they will mainly focus on the multiplayer aspect of the game rather than the single player aspect of the game, which was there. I mean, like, overall, I think because Battlefield, it was... Hold on for a second. Let me catch my breath because I was like ripping and running around the house. And I was trying to hurry up and record this podcast episode before I forgot because I was like, I have an idea on what I wanted to talk on and I don't want to mess up this idea. So anyways, breath has been caught. Anyways, back to the video or episode. But no, so overall though, I have been noticing that there's been a lot of different extraction shooters. There's been a lot of different multiplayer games coming out. I'm trying to think what else. It's just there's games where they are realizing that there's a lot of people that's playing these like just multiplayer only games, and they're not really focused on other stuff. And I think it has a lot to do with the video game Call of Duty. Now hear me out on this conspiracy theory that I done built up, because overall, I mean, it could be a believable conspiracy theory, or it could just be a conspiracy theory where, it just could be my frustration with some games and stuff. But one game that I will be talking about, for an example, is Arc Raiders. Now, with that game, and that's the thing too, where it's like the developers even themselves came out and said that it's not supposed to be a PvP game, but people are treating it that way. Even in the video game Helldivers, people they did add that PvP aspect in the game where you can kill other players, but that's not the objective of the game. The objective of the game is to do whatever the main objectives are. So yeah, they're like, oh, go take out this satellite, or go turn this satellite dish. And then for Arc Raiders, it's like, oh, go blow up this arc, go blow. So they don't have no missions designed for killing. They might have it where it might be an achievement or something to kill another raider in the game for Arc Raiders, but overall though, it's not the main objective of the game. Like, most of the people are not playing it for those reasons, but there are some people. All right, so let's just say, for an example, you do play Arc Raiders for the first time. You'll probably come across 100 different people. Every other person would most likely, probably every fourth or fifth person, let's just say, like every fourth or fifth person, maybe a little bit more, it'll end up being that person that's just going around shooting and killing other people. And that's actually the whole main motivation behind this episode. So the last time I played Arc Raiders, earlier today, I'm playing it. There's that one area in there for, I guess, those that know Stellar Montes, but it's this like area where it's kind of like closed off to the outside. It's just like they have you, it looks like you're like in a factory or like some like a underground like train station. It has like a weird look to it. I can't really describe it, but it's this area where it's like, that's how I actually described it. It kind of looks like a one of them like backrooms type video games, but kind of like a modified version of it and stuff. Like if it had a little bit of life to it and things, so, but anyways, I'm playing it. I'm going into this area because I had all of this loot. Like, so that's the objective of Arc Raiders. The main objective is that you go into these areas, kill arcs, loot either the arcs or different containers and drawers and what else? Just anything that's lootable, right? You pretty much go in there. And then they do have like missions that you can do in the middle of these not extractions, but when you go to a area to loot and all that, they do have like missions that you can do. But overall, so it's like, doing the missions, looting, killing the arcs, and then extracting. That's the whole objective of the game. Now, yes, they do have PvP combat in the game, but that's not the main objective. You ain't supposed to be going off in there killing people. Although the developers did add that, I wish they would have changed it, or at least have some sort of way. And I am going to talk on my ideas for that, and it's probably going to upset mainly the Call of Duty players. That's why I'm going to refer to the people that when you have a good idea for this game, they want to shoot the idea down because it's going to quote unquote ruin the game. And that's what confuses me so much, is that, so if a racing game decides to add a car, or to add like a certain form of racing, and it's like not really all that popular, is it going to ruin that racing game, or is it going to give people more ways on playing that racing game? Because my thing is this: if I'm a video game developer and there's people asking me, can you add a particular mode into the game for these types of players, I'm going to do it. Because if it means that there's more players that's going to be playing my game if I add this mode, I'm going to add it. So, and I'm like, but if you guys want a Call of Duty experience, then go play Call of Duty. But it just, to me, I hate the idea of these Call of Duty players where they go play other games, and then when people are putting out good ideas for the game, they're like, oh no, that's going to ruin the game. No, you want to go play Call of Duty Warzone, so just go play Call of Duty Warzone. To me, that just don't even make no sense, because the reason why I say that it's these Call of Duty players is because one of the first things that I've seen for this game when I really started getting into it, talking on Arc Raiders, when I really started playing this game, the one guy, this streamer, goes on to say they need to add spy planes in Arc Raiders, and I'm thinking to myself, why would they add spy planes into Arc Raiders? Do you not like so? And that's the thing, that like the game doesn't really have no story, it doesn't really have no lore, but you can clearly see that these arcs are just, they've taken over. So what difference would it make if you were to have, and that's actually how you have to play the game. You have to actually hear the arcs. You have to listen for them and stuff. So yeah, you'll be running through a map or running through an area, and they have like these spider arcs where they make certain noises. They have like a bunch of different like drone like arcs where they make a bunch of different noises. And then they got like these big giant like spider like arcs and stuff. They make a bunch of different noises. You have to listen for them, I guess, like when you walk into a certain area, because then they have like these like rolling ball arcs where it's like one will either set you on fire or another one will blow up. So that's how the game is mainly played, is that you have to listen for the arcs and stuff. So, but anyways, getting back to my last experience with this game. So I'm going through the area Stella Montes. I walk into this room, all of a sudden I just start getting shot at, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, what's shooting me? I run into this room because I didn't know what was going on. Like that's the thing. Like when people start shooting at you, they want to surprise you. They don't want to just like they want to wait until you're looting, or they want to wait until you're not focused and sneak up from behind you and just start shooting at you and stuff. So anyways, I'm being shot at, run into this room. Then they also have these arcs where they're like attached to walls. You can shoot them down, but then I started getting shot at by that arc. So I ended up going down in the game. Like, you don't die outright in the game. Like you get knocked down, and then eventually either your health would, I guess, like depending on how you die. If you die by an arc, the arcs don't finish you off. They just pretty much just knock you down, and then they go on about their business. But people can walk up to you if they are shooting at you and stuff, and they're trying to kill you. Yes, they can knock you out and stuff. So anyways, it was a person that was originally shooting at me, and then it was the arc that pretty much finished me off. So anyways, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fam, why? There's, to me, because I'm like, you're in a game where the like map size of the game, like pretty much you have a better chance of survival if you just went and played the game how it's designed, and that's going into an area, doing the missions, looting whatever it is that you can loot, and then extracting. Versus, I don't know what this guy is capable of. But no, that was the whole thing that he did. He was camping. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, are we really doing this? Because the funny thing is, I just remember when getting into Call of Duty years ago, I played Black Ops 1 for the first time in my life back in 2010. And that was the first time I ever played a Call of Duty game. And that was one thing that I had paid attention to, was how many people were camping in that game. So eventually I was like, you know what? No, bump all that. I'm not playing Call of Duty no more. I'm going to play other games. So I ended up discovering Battlefield. People are in Battlefield camping. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, because that's the thing. Throughout the years, Call of Duty has always been the biggest game. And it like when a new shooter game comes out, Call of Duty is going to stand out. When a new Battle Royale game comes out, Call of Duty Warzone is always going to stand out. When a zombie-ish like wave game comes out, Call of Duty Zombies is always going to stand out. So it doesn't matter whether it's the campaign, whether it's the multiplayer, Cause look at Prop Hunt. You know, it's like if there's a toss up between playing Call of Duty's Prop Hunt or Gmod Prop Hunt, what game do you think people are gonna play more? I guess if you have a gaming PC and you're willing to download all the different maps and all that other stuff, then yeah, you most likely will be playing Gmod's Prop Hunt. But if there's any other game that comes out where it's a Prop Hunt type video game, at the end of the day, everybody's going to play Call of Duty's Prop Hunt, you know. And then there is this one, I think it's this game called Skier Ritual, where it's pretty much like Call of Duty Zombies. They have it where you go up against waves of zombies, but they have missions that you can do, all these different things, plays out just like Call of Duty Zombies. And even in Fortnite, they, of course, like, you know, they got their Battle Royale mode, but they also have like some zombie wave modes and all that stuff. But overall, everybody plays Call of Duty, you know, whether it's their Warzone, whether it's what else, and that's the thing, because Call of Duty is the more popular game to play, like, because everybody has this weird well, you know what, I am gonna say everybody. Me personally, I think it's Call of Duty players that makes it out that Fortnite, oh, it's only a kid's game. Battlefield, it's, you know, what were they saying about well, no, it pretty much wasn't, they wasn't saying anything about Battlefield. They were just passing along ideas to EA to make Battlefield into another Call of Duty game, because that's in my opinion, when they came out with that red sec mode, it pretty much was their version of Warzone. Like, if you had if there's a person that's capable of modding, and then yeah, they modded it where you can destroy buildings, and you know, guns sound a little bit more realistic, and the game plays out like a more of a military sim than this you know, kind of like an arcade shooter game and stuff. Yeah, that's Battlefield. Because with Battlefield 6, I'm thinking to myself like, oh, we're back. Like, Battlefield, like, they cannot go wrong with this game. They came out with Red Sec, and it's like, bruh, you pretty much just came out with Warzone, because Warzone 2, like, that's what it is now. You guys came out with Warzone 3. So there's an OG Warzone, then there's this Warzone 2, and I guess I don't know why they came out with a Warzone, because then they come out with like a Warzone 2 or something like that, and then Warzone 3, aka Red Sec. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fam, why do these developers, when a Call of Duty, because I guarantee and I promise you, that's what people are going to start doing now, you know, because I feel like that it was kind of a thing in Destiny when they had like the co-op campaigns and stuff. But I guarantee and I promise you, if they come out with another Battlefield game, oh, they're going to come out with a campaign where you can play it with friends. You know, oh, they're going to come out with they ain't going to call it zombies. They're going to probably call it like infected or invasion or something like that in Battlefield, you know, to, I guess, compete with zombies and things. And then, yeah, they might add like a prop hunt mode, or somebody might mod it into the game, because I know they got that portal thing. So they won't have it where you could, or EA will be like, oh yeah, we're coming out with a prop hunt mode, but they'll be all like, oh, you can play as whatever you want to play as. So if you want to play as a car, or if you want to play as a gun, or if you want to play as a crate, box, whatever, you have that option. And that'll probably be like Battlefield 7 or Bad Company 3 or something like that. But my question is to developers is that, why do you feel that your game needs to be the next big Call of Duty game or something? Because I'm like, to me, my thing is this. Yeah, Arc Raiders isn't really in that style of Call of Duty, but I guarantee and I promise you, if it ever comes out that they had looked into Call of Duty, I guess on some, you know, tips and ideas for what they should do with their game, it wouldn't surprise me. Because it just seems like, Forza Horizon. Now, that's a video game where it was like, okay, you know, it's like this is a racing video game. Now, yes, they have been known for adding some, because I think it was like in Forza Motorsports 4, they kind of had like a soccer mode, kind of like Rocket League, but not where you could like jump and dive and do all this other stuff with the car. No, they just had it where you just pretty much was driving into a ball and then trying to just, you know, score goals and stuff. But no, eventually, I think it was with, Forza Horizon. I think it was in 5. I can't remember if it was in 4, but I think I remember seeing it for the first time in 5, where they added a battle royale mode. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is this in Forza? Like, what? Because I've seen it before where people have tried to, because there was this one video game where it was kind of like a car battle royale game, and it didn't work out, and the developers, they pretty much just abandoned that game. And then out of nowhere, you look up and you see where Forza, they got their own battle royale game. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is this a thing? Like, I get it, I understand, and I'm like, cool concept, cool idea, battle royale with cars and any car of your choosing and stuff. But at the end of the day, I feel like that, me personally, I feel like that this was an idea, pretty not bitten, but overall, I will say that it was heavily inspired by Call of Duty and Warzone. But I mean, I guess, with that particular example, they could say, oh, where Battle Royale games was trending and stuff. So therefore, it's like, oh yeah, we gotta, we gotta add our own version. But I feel like that with, cause Fortnite, I feel like, yeah, that game definitely their Battle Royale came out first before, I think it was like, what was it, that Call of Duty, it was like Blackout or something like that with the Black Ops 4. But overall, though, I do feel like that Warzone, it definitely skyrocketed the Battle Royale, like just mode and stuff. Because Forza Horizon 5, that came out in 2021. So yeah, it was definitely, I feel like, me personally, I feel like it was an idea heavily inspired by Call of Duty Warzone. Yeah, you can't shoot and do any of that other stuff in there. But it's like, what reasons would they have to add? Why not just add multiple different ways of racing or some stuff that you previously had in other Forza video games? Like, why do you guys feel like that Battle Royale mode would like lead you in this crazy? Because I don't hear nobody talk about, I don't hear nobody talking about it. I don't see nobody playing it. But I guarantee and I promise you, if Call of Duty streamers and players start playing Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsports, they were like, oh, we gotta see this Call of Duty feature in the game. We gotta see that Call of Duty feature in the game. They did it with Battlefield. They're doing it with Arc Raiders. Pretty sure if we look deep enough, we'll see some clips of people talking to Call of Duty streamers and players, adding in some Call of Duty idea from to Helldivers and any other popular game over the past few years. And that's the thing where I'm like, man, I sat down and I started thinking about it, and I'm like, Call of Duty really ruined gaming. Like they'll do these things where it's just, it's out of the ordinary. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But overall, people would take up on this idea, and then it ends up not being exactly like Call of Duty, but you can tell that it was definitely some inspiration behind the game, with Call of Duty and stuff. And I'm like, man, I just really want developers to realize that their potential. It's like, and that's what it's like with Arc Raiders. If you wanted this to be a story-based game, fam, it could have very well worked. But the game doesn't need to be this PvPvE game and stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, like, there have been people that I've met in that game where it's like they super chill, cool. We be exchanging stuff, helping me extract. I help people extract. They might go down, and if I have one of them like revive, like shot things, yeah, I'll revive them and stuff. But then there's that one person where they think that they're playing Call of Duty, and it's like, fam, if you want to go play Call of Duty, then go play Call of Duty. But this is Arc Raiders. So that's why I'm like, man, it's just at times I'm like, I just really wish that Call of Duty, it's like they need to just see its course and then have it where it's like nobody pays. And maybe Black Ops 7 was that Call of Duty to do so, but it's like the game just really needs to see its course and then just have it where developers like, or just take some time off. And I think that's what they need to do, because every year when they come out with a Call of Duty, because most likely at the end of this year and they come out with a Call of Duty, it's gonna be some dumb stuff being in there too, because they're probably gonna be like, oh, well, everybody's gonna be playing Grand Theft Auto, and you know what? I feel like that when you really sit down and think about it, like Call of Duty, they do probably be biting off of people, because I'm like, it wasn't like they're bad. If Battle Royale games hadn't have blown up, we would have never seen Blackout and Warzone and all that. They just pretty much, because they know that they got the name, they know that they got the fan base and all that stuff. So overall, it's like, yeah, they just got to wait for a new mode to take off and things, and then that's when they come out with their version. But I guarantee and I promise you, before we all leave this world, we are going to see an open world Call of Duty, and they're gonna make it in the same fashion as Grand Theft Auto, and then that's just going to pretty much, because they're gonna do some stuff in there where it's like it's gonna mess up the gameplay, where it's like it's either gonna be some in-game currency or the way that the game is played, but it ain't gonna it's gonna probably be fun for the moment, but eventually it's gonna get to a point where it's like, nah, something's off with this, and then we're gonna look up and then we're gonna see where Grand Theft Auto, they're gonna be coming, or well, not coming out, but when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, and after some time, whatever it is that they had in Call of Duty, they're gonna add it in Grand Theft Auto. And then who knows, if they come out with an Arc Raiders 2, or if they're all like, oh, we're gonna add an open world, then they're gonna be doing some stuff in there too that's just like the Call of Duty's open world. So that's why I'm like, man, I just think that at times, like with Call of Duty, it's like you guys need to take a break. But when I say that, it's like you need to let these other developers come up with their own ideas and not try to bite off of you guys. Like, at least have it where the game comes out first, and then have it set set up where it's like, okay, if there's anything that we need to add to this game, then okay, then let's do that. But I just feel like a lot of different developers, they take it whatever idea that Call of Duty them, because they're all like, okay, Call of Duty, they are known for their multiplayer content. So it's like, yeah, now we got to add multiplayer content. Fam, you ain't that. I guarantee and I promise you, if Arc Raiders, if they would have said, if that game would have came out, let's just say Call of Duty, it's like they're not this big popular franchise that they used to be, right? They died off. Arc Raiders comes out. It's a PvE game. There's no PvP action in it whatsoever. I guarantee and I promise you, all these Call of Duty streamers that's saying, oh, it would have ruined the game, they would have had no problem playing it if it was a PvE game. They're just trying to look for a game that's fun. But probably now that Black Ops 7 done, people are seeing Call of Duty for its true colors and seeing it where it's a game where they don't really care about fun no more. They're just trying to see how much money that they can make off of the game. I guarantee and I promise you now, it's going to get to a point where people are like, there needs to be some sort of PvE option, or to have it set up where, and that's the thing too. And I know that this is probably going to upset like the Call of Duty players that's playing Arc Raiders and they like the PvP action in the game and stuff. Because that's the thing. It's like when you play that game and you're not really a PvP player and stuff, then yeah, it's like, obviously, the PvP players, they're not in it to extract out of there with gear and stuff and all this other. No, they're, I guess, yeah, whatever gear that they find off of the person that they kill and things. But overall, though, this is what they should do. They should have it where there's that, remember in Grand Theft Auto 5, that passive mode where you can turn that on. So yeah, it's like, just have it where, obviously, they ain't gonna add no PvE mode, but they should have a situation like that with the game. So when people, if you're playing the game and cause you're not splitting the resources, just like what people said, it ain't gonna ruin the game if somebody just, goes to the gameplay settings and turns that on and stuff. No, the only thing that is ruining is the game for these Call of Duty players. Because if anybody, my thing is this, and I talked on this before, how they should add that into the game. If anybody has an issue with that, this episode is for you. I'm like, you're the reason why Arc Raiders, if some people were to say that this game isn't good, it's probably because they came across some Call of Duty players in that game. But it's like that with Battlefield. It's like that where there's so many different things that could have been added to the game. But no, sadly, these games look at Call of Duty and be like, oh, well, Call of Duty is not doing it. They don't have no PvE mode in multiplayer, because that just, it sounds stupid. So people hear that and then they think the same thing with their game, aka Arc Raiders, and they're like, okay, well, let's make it look that way, but it's gonna have some PvP action in there too. But no, they should do that. They should have it where there's like a passive mode, so people are just wasting their ammo anytime that they get to shooting at you and stuff. And then it's like, my thing is this: what if let's say if the developers were to do that, I guarantee and I promise you there'll probably be a lot of people that would, but have it set up where it's like, it only works for other players. Like the arcs, they can kill you and stuff. It's just that other players won't be able to, because that's the whole reason why people be doing that. Or at least this, though, they should have it where you can put more things in that like safe pocket section, because they only be having it where it's like 2 things that you can, well, it might be 3 if you have like a better looting system and stuff. But no, they should, or at least they should have like an insured like loadout thing. So it's like, if you have a looting loadout but you pay like however many coins to have it insured, then yeah, the person can kill you. They'll get the I guess like the statistic for the kill and stuff, but they won't be able to take anything that you extract with. So it's like, or they want to have it set up where it's like, oh, you only get to, well, I guess like that, I don't know how that will work, where it's like, you take half, but it's like, if you get something just so you can recycle the material, I don't know how they could do half of that. I guess maybe break this stuff down, but I'm like, no, they should have it set up where you have an insured like looting loadout thing. And then yeah, if people kill you in the game, then it's like, hey, you ain't gonna get nothing. My stuff is insured. So it's like, yeah, whatever it's on me, I'm leaving with it, even if I do die in the game by a player. And my thing is this: so many people, they're gonna be like, oh, I hate that idea. You're a Call of Duty player. I'm like, that's why you hate that idea, because you want this Warzone experience in Arc Raiders. Go play Warzone if you want to have a Call of Duty experience that much. But anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.